Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Crochet by Katie Humes. Today we're going to continue working on Dobby, the free house elf. What I want to show you how to do today is make Dobby's ears, his nose, his arms, and his legs. I debated on putting this into 4 different videos, but I decided I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to make each piece today, and then we will sew them on together later so that all the pieces are in one video, and then the next video we do will be sewing it on and adding his details like his eyebrows and his mouth. So today we're just going to do ears, nose, hands, and toes. Alright, I hope you enjoy. We'll be using scissors, a yarn needle, and a crochet hook. The size I'm using for this is D 3.125 millimeter. I have used this for the whole tutorial for Dobby. To begin, we are going to make a foundation chain of 16. And I'm going to try and close up for you in this video. So I'm hoping that my camera will cooperate and not get too blurry. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 second, I don't like what it's doing. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. So your chain should be looking like this. And that's round 1. I know not everyone counts the foundation chain as the first round, but in this pattern I go ahead and count your foundation chain as round 1. And if you lost count, an easy way to double check your stitches, a stitch is a V. So every V is a stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Just make sure you have 16 V's, and those are your 16 stitches for the foundation chain. Round 2, I'm going to do every stitch with you for round 2. The ear is only 3 stitches, 3 rounds long. So the second round, the first thing we're going to do is go back in to this stitch right here, the first stitch along, and we are going to put a single crochet in that stitch. One little single crochet by himself. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Alright, now in the next stitch along, let's see if that will focus, which is right here, we're going to add 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. Insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. And then go down into that same stitch, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. Alright, so far we've made 3 stitches onto the foundation chain. 1 in the first, 2 in the second. Now we're going to go along and crochet regular single crochets into the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. This gives a little bit of a curve. See? The next stitch is going to be 2 single crochets into 1 again. 1 single crochet, and then in that same stitch, 2 single crochets. Again, this is helping with that curve. Next, we're going to do 5 single crochets again in the next 5 stitches. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. One, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should have 2 stitches left on the end of your foundation chain. One, 2. On those last 2 stitches, we're going to do slip stitch. 2 slip stitches, 1 slip stitch into each. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through, and pull through. No yarning over on the way up. I have a problem. I'm going to back up because my yarn split. So I'm going to take out that last single crochet that I did. And if you ever have any problems with your yarn, just pull it out and start at that point. So I need to fix that. So that's 1 single crochet right there, which was my 5th one. There we go. I don't know why the yarn split. Now I'm doing the slip stitch that I just showed you. There we go. Much smoother. And this last slip stitch right here. Insert your hook, yarn over, and pull through both. And that is the end. Oh wait, chain 1 to end this round. So you're going to, here's how it looks. Kind of looks like a boomerang. Yarn over and chain 1 to end this round. That's how I ended this round. Okay? Now a lot of times in crochet, when you move on to the next round, you chain 1 and turn. But this time, so here's what it looks like at the end of round 3 again. End of round 2. Instead of chaining 1 and turning, we did chain 1. We're not going to turn though. We're going to continue to follow our work along the next side. Okay, and as we crochet, we're going to crochet in this tail in between this ear part so that there is no sewing that we have to do at the end. Okay, so to begin round 3, we're going to start with 2 slip stitches. Now this part looks a little tricky, but it's not, okay? We'll go slow and we'll do it together. And if my camera will stop trying to focus. All right. We're going to go into this stitch here first. It's right here. Right here. That's going to be a slip stitch. And then this next stitch right here is also going to be a slip stitch. Okay, it's going to be 2 slip stitches. 1, 2. One and 2. And we're going to be working in between these first stitches that we did. So you see this line right here? This is what we're working in. Right here. For all these next stitches that we do and those slip stitches that you did, that's what we're working in. This area is where all of our stitches are going to go in. Okay, so we've done 2 slip stitches. Now make sure this tail is on this side, so the next stitches you do, it will catch it and crochet it along, and then it will stick in there and you don't have to sew it in later. If you want to sew it in later, if you don't mind sewing in later, you can do it that way too. Our next step is 2 single crochets. We're going to insert our hook into that spot that I showed you. Pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's our first single crochet. Now we're going to make a second single crochet into the next stitch. We're not doing them together. So it's 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches. So far we have 1 slip stitch, 1 slip stitch, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet. Next, we're going to do 1/2 double crochet into the next stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, and you should have 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over and pull through 3. Oh, my yarn split again. Darn it. Let's see if I can catch it. 1 second. Off camera, I had to fix my yarn splitting situation. So now we have 1 slip stitch, 1 slip stitch, 1 single, 1 single, 1/2 double crochet. The next one is going to be 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. So yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Alright, now we're going to put another double crochet into that same stitch. For 2 double crochets into 1 stitch. And that's the first one where we've worked 2 stitches into 1. Now we're going to do 2, and see how his little ear is forming? Now we're going to do 2 trebles into 1. So to do a treble crochet, yarn over twice, insert your hook into that next stitch along, pull up a loop, Now you should have four loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through 2. Yarn over, pull through your last 2. Alright? Now we're going to do another treble into that same stitch. There you go. We're almost halfway done with the ear, with the round 3. Now, the next one, we are coming to right at that corner where the ear is turning. We're going to do 1 treble crochet. So, yarn over twice, insert your hook into that corner stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. Alright? Yay! Now we're going to start decreasing the ear back down so that it looks like a bat wing. And I debated on how to do his ears. And I will explain in just a minute, but we're concentrating right now, so let's do this. The next stitch is going to be 2 treble crochets into 1 stitch. There we go. Now we're going to do 2 double crochets into the next stitch. So we're going down from a treble to a double. You only yarn over once on the double. Go down in that next stitch. Oh, I guess I didn't explain that. I'll explain the next one since we're doing two doubles into this same one. Yarn over, insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. And that was 2 doubles into the same stitch. All right, the next step is going to be 1 half double into the next stitch, yarn over, insert your hook into that next stitch, pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. Okay, now we're going to end with 2 single crochets. 1, into the next 2 stitches, not in the same stitch. 1 stitch and 1 single crochet into the next stitch. All right, now trim the tail and pull it a little. And you don't have to worry about that tail anymore. Oh, I guess I didn't get it all. And the next thing we do is 3 slip stitches. 1, 2, oh, what's going on here? And 3. Give that a nice finished edge right there. Now just trim your yarn. Leave a tail for sewing. And that's the ear. I wanted to show you really quick. So in J.K. Rowling's description of Dobby, it says that his ears are bat-like. So I wasn't sure how I was going to make his ears, if I wanted them to look like a bat was flying, or if the description meant the ears looked like a bat, because bat ears to me look pointy like this. But I decided to go the route of making them look like, because I thought that was kind of cute too. Like whimsical and cute to have the ears pointing up like a bat. But I decided to go the route of having them be like wings, like a bat flying in the air. So that's what I decided on. I think it turned out cute with this guy. And again, we won't be sewing them on today, but I will show you how to sew them on later. But if you wanted to do a different style of ear, you totally could. If you wanted to make them bigger, you could. I just liked the size that I ended on. And like I said, I had a hard time deciding exactly how I would do the ears. Let's begin making Dobby's nose. To begin, you're going to make a magic ring of 3. It's a very tiny magic ring, so take your time and don't feel too frustrated if it is harder to work in. So, 1, 2, and 3. Now pull this tail to make your 3 very small. And you'll be able to see your stitches, 1, 2, and 3. And like I said, just take your time. As we go along, we're going to be crocheting in this tail, so we don't have to worry about sewing it in later. Now, turn, 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 so that you're holding your 3 like this. Insert your hook into that very first stitch along, and we are going to be doing an increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch. 1 single crochet, and 2 into that same stitch, single crochet. Now you can see your next stitch is right here. You're going to insert your hook and do another increase right there in this stitch right here. Oops, I caught some yarn I don't want. Sorry, I realize I cover, the way I crochet, I hold it with this index finger, and sometimes I cover what I'm doing, and I apologize for that. I'm trying to work on that so that I can show you better. A second single crochet down into that second stitch. So that's your second increase. All right, now your third stitch is right here. You're going to put 2 single crochets down into that stitch again, another increase. So we started with round 1 was 3 single crochets into the magic ring. Round 2 is 3 increases, and this gives you 6 stitches at the end of round 2. Okay, and it looks a little funny. Now what you're going to do is you're going to roll it in your fingers like this and make sure that pops out a little. Okay, and pull this tail and just work with it to make this pop out like the end of his nose. Just keep working with it until those stitches are where you want them. I'll show you. You can see how pointy that is. Round 3 is 6 single crochets, just 1 single crochet into every stitch along. So here's your next one. Insert your hook, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2. That's 1. Go into your next one, 2, go into your next one, 3, and I'm not going to worry about crocheting this anymore. It'll just act as stuffing. 3, 4, 5, and 6. That last stitch is kind of tight. Just work it in there. Now at the end of this round 2, we're going to shape that nose. Just push it down. Push these stitches like that, and then you're getting that nice little shape. Round 4, you're going to do 6 single crochets again. So insert your hook, and we're going to single crochet 6 around again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very cool. And 6. Round 5 is the same thing, 6 single crochets around. I'll meet you at the end of round 5. I'm coming to the end of round 5. I have 1 more single crochet to add for making that 6 stitches around. And it should be looking something like this. If it doesn't look like this, go ahead and remove your work and start again. So remember, it's 3 into the magic ring, then you have 2 increases in every stitch, so you'll have 6, and then the next is 6, 6, and 6. Right? Yeah. Now, for round number 6, a lot of 6s, hopefully no one's superstitious, we are going to do 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, 1 increase, 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, and 1 increase. That will make our total around 8. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next, now an increase, which is 2 single crochets into the same stitch, 1 and 2, Now you're going to do 2 single crochets into the next 2 stitches. So 1 single crochet into the next stitch, 1 single crochet into the next stitch, and the next one is 1 increase, which is 2 single crochets into 1 stitch. 1 and 2. Now it's starting to look quite long and pointy. You should have 8, when you go around and count, you should have 8 stitches around in that circle. And we are on to our last, and this, what we've created, is how it gets a little bit wider as you go up. That's that one, and this will be the very last row that we do. And it will be 8 single crochets around. Round 7, our final round, is 8 single crochets around. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you want it longer, go ahead. If you want it shorter, that's fine too. However you picture Dobby while you're reading is the right way. That looks a little shorter than that one for some reason. Sometimes when you make the same exact thing, even the same exact way, they don't always turn out exactly the same. Let's just put it on his little head and see how it will look. I think that would be nice. Alright, so trim your tail and put a slip stitch in the next stitch. I always end with a slip stitch. It helps secure your work. And pull that all the way through. And now what we're going to do with this tail that we left in there is we're going to stuff it down in the nose to give it some shape. That's why I had you leave it on. I know it was annoying to crochet with that hanging in your way, but it makes a nice little stuffing. And you don't have to. So then you don't really see any gaps because it's the same exact color of yarn. If you happen to have any gaps, using this size of hook, you shouldn't have any gaps. And if you're finding gaps in your work, switch to a smaller hook with your yarn and see if that can help. And it's just a technique that you learn as you go, how to do it tighter, because some crochet is meant to have holes, like Afghans, it's meant to have that design. But in amigurumi, you really, really want to work hard so that you don't have any holes in your finished work, that it's just a tight seam. Alright, that's about as tight as it's going to get stuffed. I'm going to trim it and we'll move on to making the arms. There's his little nose. The thing about the arms and legs is they are made exactly the same way. And it's very similar to how we made the nose. So, let's get started. We're going to start with the arm. You're going to make 2 arms. I'm just going to make 1 with you. And I was in kind of a hurry because at Christmas time I was trying to make these little creatures really quickly for my kids. So I didn't write down exactly how many rounds it took me to get to the end of the arm. But I did write down measurement. So we're going to use a tape measure here. And basically, to make an arm, you're going to make a magic ring of 6. And you can do this with any creature that you're making, any animal. If you're making a little doll, a little person, this is how you make an amigurumi arm. All right, so make your magic ring. I really like to work in magic rings. I know there's another way to do it if you don't like to work in magic rings. I don't remember exactly how. I think you like chain 4 and then turn it into a loop. But I just prefer magic rings because I like to tighten with this. So we're going to single crochet 6 into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Pull that tail to tighten it into a nice little circle. And then we're not going to do any increasing, nothing. We're just going to continue to work in rounds of 6. 6 single crochets, around and around we go. So this would be considered round 2, but I don't exactly know the rounds when I'm doing arms and legs. I just take the measurement like I said. So we're going to work 6 single crochets around. I'll do this part with you. That's my 5th one. And there's like a little gap, so you just pull on that tail and then pop this out like that. And pull that tight and it'll close up that hole. And you want to be careful, depending on the yarn you use. You might have a more delicate yarn than I'm using. I'm using Red Heart. It seems to be more stiff and durable if I tug on it. So here was number 6. All right, and I'm going to continue working in rounds of 6 until my arm is 2.5 inches long. And I will meet you back when the arm is 2.5 inches long and show you what it's supposed to look like. So you just keep working in rounds, single crochets all the way around as you go. You're just going to keep going around and around, making sure you have 6 stitches every time. Don't add more stitches in one. Don't combine any stitches. Just keep going around and around. And I will meet you back when my arm is 2.5 inches long. I'm not to 2.5 inches yet, but I wanted to show you how it's coming along. If it's not looking like this, you might want to just take it out and try again. Don't try and make something look this way. If it's not looking this way, try it out and take it out and start again with your magic ring of 6, and then just working in continuous rounds of single crochet all the way around. And you just want to be very careful that you're not adding any extra stitches, that you only put 1 stitch into the previous crochet. And I would just kind of work it in my fingers like this and roll it around. And be patient with yourself. That is the number one advice I can give. When I was first starting out, it took so long to even make one stitch. And so it can seem like a project is going to take forever when it's taking your fingers, it takes your fingers time to learn how to hold the crochet hook, how to hold the yarn, how to make the stitches look nice, remembering all the stitches. I can remember when I didn't know any of the different stitches, like single crochet, double crochet. I didn't know any of it, and I was just so confused. So I just wanted to give you some encouragement that you will get it. If I can do this, you can do this. Anyone can crochet if you stick to it. If you're patient with yourself, anyone can do it. All right, I'm at 2 inches. Half an inch left to go. I just made it to 2.5 inches. Kind of hard to see. 2.5 inches, so I am going to end with a slip stitch. And your arm should look something like this. If it's a little fatter or a little skinnier, that's okay, as long as you're happy with it. Then give it a tail for sewing into the body. I'm going to make another one of these arms off camera, and then I will be back to show you how to make the legs, which is essentially exactly the same as the arms, just a little wider. The last thing we're going to make today are Dobby's legs. And I went ahead and made the legs the exact same length of 2.5 inches long as the arms. Now, I like how that looked. It turned out just fine. His arms, it kind of made his arms a little longer, you know. But to me, that proportion looks good. But if you wanted to add more length than that, you could. So his legs are just 2.5 inches long. And once it was connected to his body, it made him, you know, from his body to his legs, it made that 5 inches. So then it made the 2.5 inch arms look proportionate and look just fine. But if you wanted them longer, that's totally up to you. Like I said, you can follow these techniques. You can make them wider, you could make them skinnier, but I'm just showing you how I made this little guy, how I did it. So for his legs, we're going to start with the magic ring. Again, you're going to make 2 legs, just like you make 2 arms and 2 ears. Only thing you get to make one of is a nose. He didn't have 2 noses. All right, so begin with your magic ring. And we're going to make 8 single crochets into the magic ring. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. All right. Then you're going to pull tight just like the arm and the nose. We did the nose this way too. And then if you need help finding that first stitch, you can count back from this stitch right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And this is our first stitch. You're going to insert your hook and go into that stitch. And I like to crochet in my tail so I don't have to sew it in later. 1, you're going to single crochet 8 single crochets around. 2, 3, 4, 5, oops, 6, 7, and 8. And continue working in this. So it's wanting to peel up, but we want to pop it in like that. We want to pop it through like that. We don't want it peeling up. Okay? Continue working 8 single crochets around until you reach 2.5 inches long. And that 8 stitches gives you a wider foot than hand. See? Just feet and hands. So continue that and I will meet you back. And that actually does it for our video, but I'll show you how the legs look at the end once I'm finished with them. I'm coming to the end of my second leg, which is a good thing because my baby just woke up. His birthday is actually today and he is 1. So I'm finishing the leg with a slip stitch. I'm gonna cut that and pull it. And that's what both legs should look like. They are a little thicker than the arms. Right? So a quick recap of what we made today. We didn't make this today, but this is what we had previously made in part 1 and 2. We made his ears, which I've decided I like flapping like bats, flapping wings, but you can make them however you want. We made his nose, which we will sew on right there. We made his arms. And we made his legs. Thank you so much for watching. And when we come back next time, I will show you how to sew all of these pieces on, because I know that can be stressful. And especially when you want your creature to last, especially if it's going to be a child's toy. You don't want any of his pieces coming off when he gets tugged on. So we'll be back soon. Bye. Bye-bye. Say bye-bye. 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 I love you.